Welcome to episode 5 of the Going Solo podcast, the weekly podcast for solopreneurs who want to make life and business work for them and not the other way around. I'm Knight Dutkewich, corporate dropout and business coach, and someone who learned the extremely hard way what it actually takes to run a successful solo coaching business. Each week, I'm breaking down the real strategies, the mindset shifts, and yes, just a little bit of woo-woo to help you build a profitable business on your terms. Because it is not the market, it is not the algorithm, it is not your toxic ex-boss. It is what is going on between your two ears. So today, we are talking about something that is stopping a lot of coaches from making money and signing clients. So today we're going to talk about people aren't buying because you're spending too much time selling. But people try and sell way too soon. And it is really ironic, but selling too soon stops people from buying. Okay, one more time. Selling too soon stops people from buying. So if you want to sell more offers, if you want to sell more coaching, you actually need to be selling much, much less. Okay, so that's today. So most coaches assume that people are ready to buy coaching. They aren't. Get mistake number one. Most people aren't ready to buy coaching. And when you push and sell to a group of people who are quite literally strangers, you are but a quick flick through in a feed of a very, very busy internet and a very busy life, and an email in a overcrowded inbox, because we understand what we do and we're kind of obsessed with what we do. We assume everybody else is too. They're not. They are strangers. And when we push people to sell, it's all about scarcity and not having enough. And that kind of lack and scarcity energy will physically repel people. So when people come to me and they tell me they're not signing enough clients, I know that one of the things they're doing is coming from a place of scarcity, not from a place of abundance. Okay, so abundance attracts and scarcity repels. Okay, and one of the things that doesn't fail to fascinate me as a coach is coaches will come to me having been trying to sell their coaching for like a year, 2 years, and no one is really buying. They might have made a few sales, but they don't have a viable, sustainable coaching business. So they come to me and then we work on everything that, makes them unique, the problems they already know how to. We work on their niche and their offer. And as soon as the coach gets this clarity, they kind of resume their normal duties. They go back to posting or emailing, and they post for a couple of days or a week, and then they come back to me and they say, I'm really frustrated, nobody's buying. I've got this great niche, I know the pain points, I've got this great offer and nobody's buying. And I'm like, slow your roll. Hang on, my friend. It took you a year to figure out, a year of doing this, to figure out what you do, who you help, and the transformations you get. And now in a couple of weeks, you are asking a group of strangers and randoms online to not only understand all of that, but also do 5 more things. So you want them to understand what you do, who you help, and the transformation you get. That took you a year. You want them to understand that when you're a flash in the pan in their feed. Okay, unreasonable. In addition to all of that, you're asking them to be able to relate to having the exact same pains and problems you've described. Whether that's not making enough money as a coach, or overthinking and underacting, self-sacrifice, not able to lose weight and kind of claim your mojo. You're expecting that random group of people to do all of those things and to have that same problem. Okay, that's a big ask. And you're assuming that they want to solve their problem. Okay, write this down. Write this down. Not everybody wants to solve their problems. Not everybody wants to solve their problems. People identify with their problems and they find comfort in having them. Now, I know it sounds really strange. That's because you are a coach. You are surrounded by coaches. You are in the coaching field. Think about your relatives. Think about when you were dating. Think about people in the supermarket and on the highway. Not everybody wants to solve their problems. Think about people in your life who have had the same problems for decades. I can name, just off the top of my head, like 5 names come to mind. They talk about their problems, they complain about their problems, and they don't do anything to solve them. And that's not a criticism, it's a survival thing. It's kind of that better the devil you know. So they know how to live with that pain, that problem. It is part of their identity, okay? It is comforting to have that to latch onto, because it's not our fault, it's the problems. So changing that problem takes energy and causes a new pain and won't be instantly pleasurable, so your brain is going to not want to do that. So not everybody wants to solve their problems. So in addition to them doing all of this, you're also, when you're kind of expecting them to buy quickly, you're also asking them to know, like, and trust you enough to consider if you can help them. It's like you are one of thousands of coaches in their inbox, in their LinkedIn feed, coming to them on Facebook ads. You are but a name in a sea of noise. Okay, so you're asking them to know, like, and trust you. And this is a really big one for me. You are asking them to trust themselves enough so that they can get the same results, that transformation that you had and your other clients get. And last but not least, you're assuming that they have the means to, or are prepared to, find the means to pay you. So each one of those things on their own are huge. They're enormous. And when they're combined, they're like trenormous. People aren't going to get there in 2 weeks. It takes time. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, how much time does it take? When can I expect to be seeing regular clients convert once I've like nailed my niche, nailed my offer, sorted out my uniqueness, sorted out my differentiator, all the business stuff? How long does it take? My answer is usually probably at least 3 months. So I have clients sign up with me who I have been talking to casually for a year. And am I talking to them about working with me? Not all the time, not all the time. Sometimes I will like shoot the breeze about what we have in common. So I'm obviously a Brit living in North America. So a lot of my conversations in the DMs are with Brits or expats who live in different countries. So those relationships build over time. So it is a journey, and my friends, it is called the buyer's journey. Now, this is really, really important. So it is the buyer's journey, not the buyer's sprint, not the buyer's 24-hour intensive, not the buyer's 72-hour intensive. It is the buyer's journey. And the thing about journeys is they take time. They take time, my friends. And there is no destination agreed to. So they can go, and they will go on this journey. And that destination that they get to, because remember, it's their journey, not yours, won't necessarily end in the destination being to sign with you. And that's okay. And I know at this point your survival brain is like not going to like that news. Your brain is not going to like the news that getting clients, even when you set it up, takes time, and it's a journey, and they might not even choose you. That is the price of entry. Being comfortable with that is the price of entry of making money as a successful coach. Okay. And I want to remind you that there are more than enough clients who need what you've got and will choose you as the destination after this journey than you will ever be able to manage. There are too many clients than you can ever handle. Okay, so abundance. All right, so today I'm going to be breaking down exactly what you need to do at each stage of this buyer's journey. Everything from, I suspect I may have a problem, to take my money, so that you can start waiting and start guiding people towards a yes. Because we think that, you know, if we post more, if we talk about our offers more, if we show up consistently, people will eventually reach out and say, I'm in, sign me up. Here's the digits on the back of my credit card. In reality, most people, most clients aren't anywhere near ready to invest. Not because they don't want to, not because they don't see the value in your services. I spoke to a fabulous client of mine this morning, and he had pitched to a client on Tuesday. Client was all in. They were supposed to have a follow-up on Thursday. He got an email saying, oh, not quite ready. We've got some cash flow issues. Want to circle back. That is not a no. That is not a no. In 3 days, that journey probably isn't long enough. So it's not because they don't want to. It's just because they haven't moved through those psychological stages of buying. Now, there are 3 stages that human beings go through. And remember, human beings are feeling creatures who happen to think. So all these emotional and psychological phases that we go through are normal. And in business, those 3 stages are what people will often refer to as a sales funnel. So that buyer's journey, those 3 stages are sales funnels, basically. And when they say sales funnel, they are talking about the process of bringing people into your orbit and guiding and nurturing them through 3 stages. Okay, so that's what we're going to get into today. So people aren't buying because you're selling too much. You need to do this instead. We need to go with the buyer on this journey. Now, this is the thing. The buyer's going to go on this journey regardless. So if you don't step up in those phases in line with your buyer, they will just follow somebody else that is. So it's not that you have to push them through. They are going through this anyway. You need to show up and match them where they are. Okay. All right. So stage 1 of the buyer's journey or the sales funnel is awareness. They don't know you. They don't know you. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you do. And they don't necessarily know they have a problem. So the first stage of the buyer's journey is awareness. So this is where people first start to suspect they have a problem. They might know what the symptoms are at that point, but they might not know what the cause is. And I see this all the time with coaches saying, you know, you need to rewrite your limiting beliefs. And in the meantime, the client's like, I feel sick before I go to work, and like my boss is just a complete idiot. Telling them to rewrite their limiting beliefs, makes it sound like it's a them problem. They already suspect there's something wrong with them. We don't want to make it a them problem, we'll make it a systems problem. And also, if they knew, they don't know what that means. And if they knew how to rewire their limiting beliefs, they would have done it already. They are smart. Human beings are smart. Okay, so at this stage, they don't know necessarily the cause of their problem. They might know what the symptom is, and they certainly don't know the solution yet. They will be all emotion. So they will be feeling, and this is why I talk about feelings every day. They will be feeling frustrated and stuck and like something isn't working, and they're probably feeling a bit jealous and torn. But they haven't connected the dots to the solution. So at that stage, what do people do? They do what we all do. We Google. They Google, my friends. They start searching for answers. They will Google things like how to stop procrastinating. Why am I overthinking? How can I stop overthinking and take action? How can I make more money as a coach? How can I find more clients? How can I find more leads? They are in research mode. They're in Google mode. They are trying to put words to their experience. Now, notice that not one of those Google searches was, I need a business coach. I need a confidence coach. I need a AI coach. It's like they're so far away from that. They don't know that that's potentially one of the solutions. And this is where most coaches miss out. If you are posting and emailing people, book a call, join my program, you are not, they are just going to scroll right past. It's crickets, going to go completely over their heads, because in their minds and in reality, they are not at the buying stage yet. They don't even know what the problem is. They don't even know what the problem is. All they know is what the emotion is. Before they know what the problem is, how would they possibly know what the solution is? Okay, so what do we do instead? Instead of telling people to book a call, you meet them where they are. So your job at this stage is to help them understand their problem better than they do. Okay, so instead of saying like, join my coaching program to stop procrastinating, take this audit for like 4 steps to stop overthinking. It's like, what? You don't want to do that. You want to connect with humans in the most effective way that we've been connecting as humans for thousands and thousands of years. Storytelling. You want to tell a story. There's a reason we tell stories. There's a reason religion tells stories. There's a reason we tell stories to help people sleep. There's a reason politicians tell stories. Stories are safe. Stories are what makes that takes data and extrapolated ideas and helps them to make sense in a relatable way. So you'll hear me constantly share and talk about things like being an ambitious introvert is exhausting and incredible and exhausting. Let's face it, we are walking contradictions. We have the skills, the brain power and the drive to be massively successful, but too often we find ourselves under-earning or stuck in corporate jobs that drain our souls. I'm telling you a story about how it feels to be an ambitious introvert, okay? Now, half of you listening that won't resonate with. You won't resonate with being ambitious. You won't resonate with if you are on LinkedIn listening to this, you're probably ambitious. You might not resonate with being an introvert. You maybe don't want to be massively successful. You might not think you're under-earning. But the other half of you will go, oh my goodness, that's me. That walking contradiction of, I've got so much I want to do. I know I'm really capable. I've got huge goals and I'm constantly doubting myself. That will hit some of you in the feels. You are the people I am talking to, okay? Because you are me 5 years ago when I had a problem, okay? Ambitious introverts tend to be incredibly hard on ourselves. Human beings tend to be incredibly hard on themselves. Introverts, because they have more, they have a juicier prefrontal cortex, they have more grey matter where it matters. We tend to overthink everything and get into analysis paralysis and struggle to take the right action. So I tell stories about, this is how you might be feeling, because this is how I feel. You might think it is a discipline problem. You might think it's an attention problem. It's not. It's a nervous system and an energy problem. Here's what's really happening. Okay, so you tell a story. And the goal is not to sell. The goal is to get them to see themselves in your content and think, oh, that's me. That's me. Every single piece of content I write, every podcast I deliver, I have one aim, and that aim is to let people know that they are not the only ones who are ambitious and who are confident and doubt themselves at the same time, and who struggle with making good money as a coach in a way that feels good in their bodies. Every time I show up, that is my one aim. And why do I do that? I do that because connection is one of the 6 basic human needs. It is as important as water and nutrition and shelter. Human beings have a basic need for connection and validation. We are pack animals. We are social creatures. Being on and feeling like we're on the outside of the pack or a tribe and that we are so different is terrifying. It is a threat to survival, terrifying. So do you think about nature, injured creatures, the weak, the runts of the litter, the slow ones at the back, the ostracised, creatures left behind by the pack rarely survive. You've got to meet that base need. And there's a reason teenagers do everything they can to fit in, because we are pack animals. Standing out, not fitting in, is a threat to survival. Meet their base needs. You are not alone. I've had that struggle too. I am with you. There is no greater gift you can give another human being. No greater gift. It's a base human need. Okay, so that's stage 1, awareness. Okay, stage 2, and we call this stage consideration. So at the consideration stage, people are thinking, I need help. I need help, but who can I trust? So one of the things that happens when people become aware that they've got a problem, and there's a really good study called the Hawthorne effect that proved this as well. When we realise we have a problem, in the beginning that problem will get worse. And it's not because the performance is worse, it's just because we're more aware of it. Okay? So when somebody suspects they've got a problem, and when they start to do research and they really dig into it, there will be a dip in performance and an increase in dissatisfaction. Completely normal. Okay, so now they're in consideration, they know they need help, but they don't know who to trust. The first thing they will do as a human is to say, I can figure this out on my own. And they'll beat themselves up and they'll feel lots of guilt and shame for, I'm 40, I'm 30, I'm 50, I'm 60, why haven't I done this anyway? So that's something they'll go through. But then they'll move into, okay, I need help, but what's the right solution? So they will start looking at Instagram, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, coaching courses, books, free resources. They want to fix their problem, and they are terrified of making the wrong decision and wasting times. They have probably been burnt. So remember, at this point, there's probably some guilt and shame there. They already feel lacking, and they're already nervous about making the wrong decision, and they doubt themselves. So they're worried about doubting themselves more and wasting their time. They've probably been burnt. And this is where people will start to lurk. Lurkers are the best things in the world, okay? A lurker is somebody that is watching you. I see you. They are watching your contents. They are reading your emails. They are reading your testimonials. They are stalking your profile. They are stalking your client's profile. They are stalking your Instagram. They might comment or like a post. Not always. Not usually. Very rarely lurkers. I like to say to my clients, lurkers be lurking. Lurkers lurk. The people commenting and liking your posts and your stuff like that probably aren't the people that are going to buy. They might be. They're probably other coaches trying to get visibility. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. They're probably not going to buy. It is the lurkers that are going to buy. They are watching you. They might sometimes reach out and say, might sometimes comment in a post saying, oh, that really hit, or occasionally they will reach out and sort of give you compliments. Like, I loved that post, I can really see myself in you. And this is really important, and coaches do this all the time. Do not offer somebody who has just given you a single compliment, who you've never spoken to before, do not offer them a sales call. You sound desperate. It is the equivalent of a stranger in the street, or this is where I show I'm really old and not very hip, or a stranger sliding into your DMs, giving you a compliment and you proposing marriage. It's like, what? All I said was, your hair looks fabulous. Like, do I want to marry you? I don't. And you sound crazy. It is bonkers. Stop asking people that give you compliments for sales calls. Bonkers. Okay. So, and then people think that, oh, I offered a sales course and they ghosted me. Of course they ghosted me. You sound like a lunatic. Of course they ghosted you. Okay? You are in a wedding dress in a bar. People should run away from you. Okay. So people are scared. They're really, really scared at this point. And their biggest fear is wasting money. Biggest fear out of any of this in stage 2. 70 to 80% of my clients have worked with business coaches before. Most of my clients have worked with business coaching before and didn't get the results they wanted. They have usually dropped a ton of money. They are probably feeling worse about themselves, probably questioning themselves and beating themselves up for making bad decisions, probably a bit pissed off and skeptical of the coaching business of business coaches. So and they have seven grand less than they had before and they still haven't brought any money in. So the work that needs to happen for them to trust me and what's going to be different about working me is enormous. Okay, so what do? You prove 2 things. You prove that your coaching actually works and you're not like the others. Now, there are 2 things that need to be in place for this to work. Your coaching has to work and you can't be like the others. Okay, really, really important. Your coaching has to work and you need to be different to the others. And this is where you need to bring in, your story of how you solved that massive pain for you that kept you awake at night. So when I first started coaching, again, very successful corporate leader. I worked for Rolls-Royce for 20 years all over the world, as good as it gets on the resume. So when I left and life happened and then I started to be a coach, I went from high prestige, high income to scraping together 3k a month. It never messed with my identity, but it certainly messed with my confidence. What's going on here? So when I first started coaching, I was really stuck at 3k months for a couple of years. And when I was earning 3k, I was probably working 40, 50 hours a week. So I was hustling, really hustling. And now, kind of 8 years later, I do 10 times that in less than half the time a week. And that didn't happen out of nowhere. There was a bunch of stuff I had to unlearn. Most of it was unlearning. Learn, practice, fail at. So you want to talk about what you did. Okay, you want to talk about what you did. You also want to talk about your clients' success stories. So show how you helped other people get results. You want to show them kind of a little bit of behind the scenes. Give them a sneak peek into your coaching practice. This, my friends, is a sneak peek into my coaching practice. So instead of just posting a testimonial that, Sarah hit 10k months, you want to really use storytelling and context. So, when Sarah first started with me, she was working 12 hours a day and still not signing clients. She felt like she needed more time to feel ready. It's always more time. More certificates to be more credible. The ICF thing will sort it once more strategy. But in reality, she just needed to calm down her nervous system, sort a niche out, lean into what made her really, really different, and take more focused action. And after 16 weeks of coaching, she hit 10k months, and here's what changed. So you really want to tell that story, and in telling that story about your clients, you're trying to position their story as well. Okay, so when you do this, you remove the biggest buying barrier, and that's fear of, what if this doesn't work for me? What if this doesn't work for me? And be really careful of, I say no to probably 1 in 3 clients that want to work with me. And the biggest red flag I've got is when people are desperately want to know how long it will take, who it worked for, who it didn't, what's the difference. When they come from a place of absolute scarcity and fear and their confidence is shot, I know that's somebody that's going to need some counselling and not business coaching. Like, I will like gladly refer them to somebody else. I know it's not going to end well for them, and I'm not going to enjoy the process. So one of the really good ways to help with the trust factor, video testimonials, really effective. Client comments. So one of the things that really helps my business is when I post, and I don't ask them to, my clients will often jump on and will say really nice things about me, and then other people see that, and then it really helps. So I'm very lucky that I have the best clients in the world, and because they trust me, they tell their friends and they rave about me, and they help people to trust me by extending my credibility as an extension of them. So, and this is why referrals are so powerful. We trust Shannon, and Shannon trusts Joe, therefore we trust Joe. So referrals are really powerful. And it's not enough for people to trust you to help them get results. Are there other coaches who help people to 5k, 10k, 20k months in 25 hours a week like I do? Yes, there are other coaches who do that. So why, out of the alternatives, I could name them, I'm friends with most of them, why should they pick me? Because I'm not like the other coaches. What makes me different? I'm business and I'm woo-woo. I practice abundance and sales strategy. I stay with you for 12 months, not 3 months. You will not find another coach like me. And that needs to be the same for you. What makes you different? And you need to be at complete peace with, and I am not, as you are not, for everybody. I am not for everybody. Some people will have come to this podcast, heard me, and gone after about 3 minutes like, oh, who's this? And that's okay. That's okay. Some people sign up and subscribe and listen to it as soon as they can. They are my people. They are my people. Okay. So I am not for everybody. You are not for everybody. I am smart. I am kind. I am funny. And I am intense. I think about my clients' businesses as much as they do. And I'm going to be like, I'm the one that's like in the shower in the morning, like, Shannon, you need to change this. I am intense. I am reassuringly intense. I'm awkward. And I'm quite direct. I'm really kind, and I'm quite direct. And that is not for everybody. And it is a beautiful thing. Okay? So you've really got to lean into why should they trust you and what makes you different. The biggest thing that makes you different is just being yourself. All of it. All of those things that in corporate, those performance reviews told you to get rid of. If they told you you were too kind, too loving, too patient, too compassionate, too intense in your corporate review, dial them up. Lean into them. Those are your superpowers. Those are what make you unique. Okay? All right. Stage 3, decision. So we've got the first stage, awareness. Second stage, consideration. Third stage, decision. They are kind of ready to take action, but they need one last, I don't like the word push, we need one last little bump. We'll say bump. They need a little bump. So now they're at the decision stage, and this is where people are so close to saying yes, and they trust you, and they believe coaching can help, and they can suspend their disbelief long enough that they can trust themselves, but their brain is still screaming at them, wait, what if this is a mistake? Okay? And when that's happening with people, you will hear, I need to think about it a bit more. I had this with a potential client about 3 weeks ago, and in the end I just said, like, you're not ready. I didn't say stop wasting my time, but like internally I was like, I'm wasting my time, this guy's not ready. I need to think about it, like, I'm going to try and do this again. It's like the same thing they were trying that hasn't worked, they're going to try that again. That is because they are not confident in their ability to get the results. What if I don't have the time? Maybe I should wait until next month. Maybe we should, if ever they say circle back, maybe we should circle back in August. None of those things are really about time or money. They're all about fear. Fear of failing, fear of spending money and not getting results, fear of investing themselves, fear that they are less than, feel like they're not enough, Like, who are they to think to do this? So it's all fear. It's all fear. And how do we help people to cross the line? You don't force them, number one. You make them feel safe. You make them feel safe. And sometimes, and this is where boundaries come in, and sometimes I am not prepared to do what it is going to take for other people to feel safe enough. And there has to be a degree of a leap of faith they're willing to do. Because if I'm providing all of the safety and they're taking no risk, I know that the second it starts to get difficult, they are out. And I that's not a good use of our time. So what you don't want to say is like, so you've got somebody that's really fearful, somebody in massive pain, thinks you can help, is willing to trust you enough, willing that you're different enough. They're still in fear, so how do you make it safe? What most people do is go, join my program now, or 24 hours left, or only 4 spaces left. They dial up the scarcity. So what does that do to people? People in pain, people in fear, you dial up the scarcity, they're nervous wrecks. You don't want to work with nervous wrecks. Okay? You don't want to work with nervous wrecks. So instead of saying, join my program now, you want to help them move across the bridge to the other side of solving that problem. So you want to paint the picture of when that pain is solved in that time. So instead of saying, join my program now, and the reason the coaches do the scarcity and fear of missing out is because that drives people. It gets people across the line, but it gets the wrong people across the line. It gets nervous wrecks across the line who didn't really have the money to work with you and are so desperate for it to work, they're putting everybody off. So like, people have to step across the line on their own. You have to make it safe enough for them. Don't drag people across the line. Okay. So you want to paint the picture of, imagine waking up and knowing what to do to grow in your business without overthinking and guessing. That's what we do inside my coaching program. Let's chat. So you want them to picture their future self after working with you. If you go onto my sales page, there's like 3 whole pages that have like a future diary, like end of month 1, all described what's happening at the end of month 1. End of month 2, what's happening. It's all telling a story about the other side. It's really, really important. You're showing them what is possible, not just telling them to book a call. Now, this is for all the LinkedIn coaches out there and anybody that listens to them. Nobody in the history of genuine people who want to become a client has ever booked a call solely on you telling them to book a call. People don't book calls because you tell them to book calls. Stop telling people to book calls. If they want to book a call, they will book a call. If they don't book a call, they are just not that into you. Move on. Move on. So if every piece of content or email message ends in a call to action to book a call, stop. It's not effective. What you want to do is you want to invite them into your orbit. You want to give them a taste of what it feels like to work with you. You want to give them a low barrier, high piece of value that helps them solve a problem that they have. So this is where masterclasses are superb at this. Free masterclasses. And they're not even free, are they? They say free. You still have to go and attend live. You know there's going to be a sales pitch coming. We know that. Even if you're watching the recording, you're still giving an hour of your time. You're still giving your email. You know that by getting your email, you'll eventually be pitched to. They're not free. And they are really, really high value. And I have never had a client in the last 3 years who hasn't at least watched me live in one masterclass or recording. When people are spending $6,000 on coaching, they need to know that they're going to get results. Masterclasses help doing that. So speaking of masterclasses, imagine it being October this year in 2025 and all the trees have started to change into that beautiful fall colours and pumpkin spices in all the shops, and we're starting to feel kind of fall and cosy, and you know that your coaching business brings in consistent 5k months while you're working 25 hours a week doing what you love and without any soul-sucking sales tactics that make you want to shower and vomit, or vomit in the shower. Imagine how peaceful and aligned that would feel. Okay, so on April the 2nd, I'll be sharing the exact steps you need to take to get there. And these are the same steps that worked for me and my clients. And I would genuinely love to see you there. So wherever you are listening to this, the link is in the comments, or it is in the link in my LinkedIn bio. Okay, so see what I did there, by the way? It's a journey. To wrap up, most coaches are only showing up at the decision stage, trying to sell to people who they think are ready to buy, and they are not. There might be some, they are a tiny percentage of your audience. So your job isn't to wait for people to be ready, it is to help them move through the buyer's journey. At the awareness stage, help them understand their problem. Make sure they know they are not alone. It is not just them, there is hope. At the consideration stage, show them that your solution works and why you are different. Why you are different. And at the decision stage, make them feel safe saying yes. So when you start speaking to all three stages, you'll see way more people moving towards a yes. Okay, so if you are listening to this on Spotify, I would love a review or a like, and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. If you found this useful, share it with a friend. And even though you might be going solo as a coach, you are not alone. All right, take care, everybody.